Good evening. Come on in. Come on in. We are back after a few weeks. I'm going to tag a few people if I can. If I can find my mouse. I wanted to do that work because I just did add followers. We'll see. Let me see if I got a notification.
I don't know which one is. Let's see. Did you get a notification? Make sure you say hello when you join us so that we'll know you're here. Good evening, Miss Johnson.
Oh, I'm muted.
Yeah, I thought that was intentional. How are you tonight, Miss Johnson? Yolanda, you're muted again. I don't know if that's intentional or not.
It was intentional then. I was trying to tag people and
Okay.
I was getting. But no, I was asking you, how was your day?
Um, it was pretty good. I actually had a little happy today. I got some feedback from a young man that let me know he actually listened to something I said. So that's always a good thing because sometimes I feel like I'm talking to the paint on the walls. But it was a good day. Hey, Tamika. Thank you for joining. I know you're super swamped this time of year. Glad you're doing well, Miss Johnson. Hey, Ray. How was your day, Yolanda?
I actually had a good day. For the most part, it was okay. Hey, Miss Gwen. I don't know if she's watching from resolutions or from the other page.
This rain is not letting up today.
Is not. And it's supposed to be like this for the duration of the week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I just got a notification that Crossett schools will be opening 2 hours late.
Because of
And
road flooding.
well, it said in consideration, I don't even think it had anything to do with it. It says out of an abundance of caution, Crossett School District will delay the start of school for students and staff by 2 hours tomorrow.
Mm.
Um, this is due to continued heavy rain overnight, creating excess water over the roads, especially for our more rural areas. So, yeah, buses will also run on a 2 hour delay. We will monitor the weather overnight and post any changes to those plans in the morning. So, if you're watching and you're from Crossett, school is delayed 2 hours. Hamburg is delayed also.
It's making me sleepy too, Tamika, and it don't take much for me.
Oh, I had a vegan energy drink today. Thank you. I had a vegan energy drink today. And so I'm still not tired.
A vegan energy drink. Hey, Charlotte.
Yes, a vegan energy drink.
What made it vegan?
I don't know. It was in the fridge at work, and I thought it was Liz's, and I knew my VA energy was not gonna do it for me. And I said, "Oh, this got to be Liz's, and she's not here today. I'm just gonna replace it." But it was Lashandra's. She wasn't mad. It's called Alani. It was pretty good.
I think I've heard of that before.
Hmm It had like 200 milligrams of caffeine.
Mm,
So maybe I can knock out the rest of my work when we get off this live.
maybe so. Hey, Lashandra.
Found it at Walmart. So I'm gonna have to
Stock
scurry
up.
on to Walmart in the morning and give me another one.
Mm, I may have to try that kind. I've never had it before.
Yeah, because I swear by VA energy. Like I won't drink a Red Bull or anything like that, a monster, nothing, but this carried me through the day.
Yeah, I've only had Red Bull and that sparingly. Uh, but some of those game nights, those long road trips,
Oh
I
yes.
had to do it.
And so I did not feel jittery at all.
Mm.
And I still haven't. So tonight is Talk About It Tuesday. Whew. I am going to share a little bit just in the beginning. So we have not been on in I'm gonna say what 3-4 weeks maybe.
Has it been? It hadn't been that long, has it?
It's been at least 3 weeks, I know.
Oh no.
Um it's been a minute. And so one of the reasons that we haven't been on is because of me. Like I was not in a good place. I was struggling with grief and I just didn't have the push through to do it in the afternoon after being at work all day. Thank God I'm in a better place and I'm back and we're ready to talk this afternoon or this evening.
Yeah. So I just want to commend you for pulling away. I think a lot of times we have this hero syndrome, like we got to push through for everybody. But in this profession, it's so hard to get through the workday sometimes because you don't get to carry your feelings into your job, right? Like when you're in a typical office job or whatever, um, you can just kind of close the door, take some time away, but you have to pour all you have into your clients. And when you don't have much to give, and then you can be tempted to feel bad because you're not doing this. We miss y'all too, but you are the type to always just go and go and go and go and give and overextend yourself. And so I'm just glad that you um, set a boundary concerning your own health and doing what was best for you in that time when you needed to.
Well, thank you. LaQuinta was really supportive. I remember the first Monday I called her, I was like, I can't, I just can't do it today. And she
Yeah,
was like, and that's okay.
yeah.
So we've been gone, but we're back. We like to hear what y'all want to chat about tonight. Is the weather affecting anybody? Did anybody get to see the eclipse in totality yesterday? Hey, Kamisa.
I got to see it in totality virtually. My sister FaceTimed me
Oh wow.
while it was happening, but I wanted to go to Little Rock because it was also my son's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I decided to go ahead and go to work. Should have gone.
Oh.
Oh, Tamika, you got to see it. I know you got some good pictures with your Android.
How was the traffic in Little Rock?
My son said it wasn't terrible. It was like, you could tell there were people from out of town just because of, how they were driving, like trying to figure out where they were going.
Oh.
But other than that, he said it wasn't bad for him, in his opinion. And
Okay.
my physical therapist was in Little Rock, in Hot Springs for it. And she said it wasn't terrible. She said the traffic is worse during the holidays than it was for them there. She got some really good pictures.
Hmm. Brad, stop it. He said, I'm trying to figure out how to get a donkey and a pig involved.
Oh, is that a inside joke?
So I'm on the chamber with Brad, and he
Oh,
always coming up with these crazy jokes.
oh, okay. Oh no, the phone pictures never do things justice. I'm convinced that God has it set up so we can't really capture all his beauty with the camera. Because
Oh
stuff can
yeah.
be so pretty when you're looking at it, but when you take a picture, it just never really gives that. Hi, Brad. I was about to say I could help you get the pig and donkey together, but
Yes,
yeah,
thanks for
it
joining
was.
us.
It was so Tamika was what my physical therapist, no, was it her? Somebody said they just put their glasses, like held it over their camera and took the picture that way.
Oh, that was smart. Okay.
Mhm. But I'm just glad I got to witness what I did get to witness. I've heard all of the conspiracy theories about it was fake and
Well,
uh
oh,
it
I
was
haven't heard that.
You have it? Oh, child. Yeah.
But can somebody on here tell me about the red? Why were you supposed to wear red yesterday? Does anybody know?
I read something about like the effect that it was supposed to create. I forgot what it was called. I forgot what it was called. Let me see if I can look it up.
Please do not do anything with a donkey and a pig. The corona. I think my camera was too big, so it wasn't capturing it the same. Oh. Okay. Well, let's talk about depression tonight and how it impacts us overall. Because we know that it can impact us mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Um, and so one of the ways, like, when you're kind of down, you're not motivated. You lose your motivation to maybe get out of the bed, maintain your same level of hygiene. Some people do. Um, your appetite can even change. It can increase, it can decrease. Anybody care to chime in?
Sleep can increase or decrease.
Oh, yes. Is there anybody who has been, maybe in a low mood and just found it difficult to go to sleep for whatever reason? Maybe because of worry or fear?
Yep. Lack of energy, appetite, sleepy all the time.
Hmm. So those are some prime indicators that something is just not right.
Yeah. The amount of yeah, sometimes it takes all you have just to get up
Right.
and attempt to go to work or take care of your children, you know.
Hmm. And so, what do you do when you are at that place?
And it can also jumping back just for a second, you can also experience physical pain.
Oh, yes. You can have headaches, and in women, a lot of times you'll have back pain. Sometimes I've even heard some women say like their whole body hurts.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of feels like their body is in a flare and they're not really sure why.
Yeah.
Tamika said Easter was a low mood day for me because it was a trigger day for me. Sometimes random holidays that revolve around children trigger me. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Oh no, Kamisa, your remedy is not a healthy one. Kamisa said her mom won't allow her to sleep um, because she may be always thinking.
So what Tamika said about holidays, Father's Day was a big trigger for me for years. Um, and it still can be, but not to the same degree that it was. Like it was really, really bad to the point where I would find myself feeling angry at
Mm,
people. I won't say at people who still had their fathers, but it came from a place of jealousy. You know what I mean?
mm,
But that was a really triggering holiday for me for years. And Thanksgiving, because that was a real big family time. And over time, as we lost family members, it went from like my favorite holiday to triggering.
mm. How did you finally get to a better place with it?
Um, Time and like for the holiday for Thanksgiving, we changed our tradition, right?
Okay.
So instead of having a big get together, like we normally do. We started going on a cruise for Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where that came from. And then with Father's Day, I think it's just gotten better over time.
Mhm.
So, but you know, it can still be a trigger. Like Tamika said, it's not all the time. You just never know when it's gonna hit. I never know. I never know.
Okay.
But I
And
can
that's
be
the thing
honest with
about
my. Go ahead.
that's the thing about grief. Like we don't know when it's gonna hit. It comes in waves. It
Yeah,
is not linear. And those stages of grief, taking nothing away from the research and all of that. But I think as we have evolved, those stages probably need to be changed
yeah,
because they fluctuate.
they
You
do.
go back and forth. So it's not like you are in denial and you go to acceptance and you may never go back to
Yeah,
denial.
I think I might need to trademark this before I say it on Beyonce Internet. But I think that it would be more appropriate to call them elements of grief,
Mm-hmm.
or components of grief, because they aren't stages. Like when you think of stages, you think it goes from one to the next,
Right.
but it's like a Rubik's cube, you know, it's all intertwined.
Exactly.
And so you may experience one for a long time, then jump to something else, and then go back.
Now y'all got there here first.
Don't be trying to take my stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, like, and I think that sometimes even having those labels attached can make people feel like they're not grieving the right way. Like we have a tendency to tell people they should be over things, uh or it's been long enough.
Oh my. I'm gonna say this. I was the world's worst because I didn't understand grief on that level. Like
Yeah,
I didn't understand how like after I'm gonna say years, I didn't understand how people would still be grieving. Like it didn't make sense to me. And I guess for a couple of reasons. One, in the other profession, you know, you're servicing families or whatever. So it never really affected me like that.
mm-hmm.
Two, I don't think I lost anybody that close to me at the age that I am. So I lost one of my aunts and I was really close with her. Actually was gonna move with her after college and she died 2 months before my graduation.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was hard. That was difficult, but not like this.
Mm-hmm.
Um and so I get it now. I get how it can be a year later
Yeah,
and then something may happen and then it may feel like day one all over again.
yeah,
But the thing is like you can't stay there. I do think that you should sit with your emotions and feel what you feel. But if you allow yourself to stay there too long, it's just not healthy.
yeah.
And it can take you down a winding road that you do not want to be.
Right. That's true. I hear you. I sure need to get that trademark in.
Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes experiencing another death can be a trigger, and I think part of the reason for that is we don't sit with our feelings each time we feel grief, right? So, like, we'll have a loss and then we'll feel it a little bit, but when we start to cry or we shut ourselves down and we don't allow ourselves to release those emotions and just, go through the process of grief. And so, to a degree, we probably suppress it more than we should. And then
Mhm.
when something else happens, now we feel not just that current loss, but we're also having some ricochets of the loss before that we hadn't fully processed or gotten over. Because life don't wait for you to get better. It just be
Oh,
life.
keeps on yeah, it just keeps on going. Lashandra asks, what is too long? So per the DSM, if it's over a year and you're still grieving, it now is uncomplicated bereavement. Um, but now listen, that's a book.
Mm-hmm.
And we are humans. So if it's uncomplicated bereavement, let it be uncomplicated bereavement. But you do what you have to do until you feel better. I do think that definitely talking to a professional can help, will help, should help.
Yeah. So like for me, I lost my dad in 1999 and will cry about it to this day. And in 2099, I'll probably still be crying about it because that was my dad. So there is no such thing as too long to miss someone that you loved. Like, what do you mean? I'm gonna miss him forever.
Hmm.
If you've lost somebody, I'm gonna miss my grandma forever. I'm gonna miss my aunts forever. I'm going to miss them as long as I'm alive and can remember that they were alive at one time. But I wanted to share. Go ahead.
No, I just said right. For me, that's not my story. Like sometimes I want to cry and I can't. Um, and I think for some women, we're so independent and we look at tears as a sign of weakness. Now, I know that that is not the truth. I know that tears are not a sign of weakness, and I know that tears are very cleansing. I think the way I deal with it is more anger,
Mhm.
frustration, sadness. Like I don't know. I don't think I had ever really just been that sad and oh my gosh, had no energy whatsoever.
Mhm.
And I think it probably would have been better if I could have just cried, but I mean, I just couldn't make tears appear.
Have you ever thought that maybe part of that reason is because you've conditioned yourself to not be emotional? Like between your two main professions, you can't really show emotion like that. Like you have to be able to hold it together because you are um, helping other people through their difficulty. So if you in a funeral falling over the casket crying, or you in a session crying harder than them, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And so to a degree, we have to detach from our emotions
Hmm.
because we have to um, get the job done. And if you haven't learned to, and then you're also in a position of leadership. So you have to be able to delegate. Like you can't let your feelings take over. And so maybe
Yeah,
you just learn
I
to
think so.
reconnect.
I think so. I'll never forget. It was a really emotional day, and one of my clients was talking about a loss, and it was all I could do to make it through that session. And so the
Mhm.
next time me and the client met, she could tell that it was something wrong with me that day. And I mean, I just was honest with her, or whatever, and I told her that I empathize with her, but I was in my own feelings that day. And I
Mhm.
was like, I didn't feel bad about it, and I don't think that I was unprofessional.
Yeah.
Um, but it was tough.
Yeah. And they
Hey,
have to know
Mom.
that we're human too. Hey, Miss Doris. Barron said, I think society places expectations of grief on grief and processing. This is a good way to note that mental health healing is different from physical healing. For example, we can take heal we may can heal from a common cold in 2 weeks, but healing from death, there is no time frame. Everyone heals differently. Exactly.
So true. Very
Yeah.
well said.
And I think also society tells us that we should get back to normal. But when you've suffered a great loss, whether it's, a physical loss of someone that you loved, or the loss of a job, or loss of a marriage, or friendship, like, you're never really the same. But I don't think it's meant for us to be the same. Like, the things that we go through should help us evolve into a better version, right? Like, you go through this hurt and this pain, but what do you get out of it? It shouldn't just be for the sake of hurting. So
Right.
how can you grow in this? How can you become better?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to read the difference between grief and mourning,
Okay.
because I don't think that we always know the difference between the two. I'm trying to see. Trying to get a good, simple. Okay, so grief relates to the thoughts and feelings that accompany a loss, from sadness to anger to longing to be with the person. On the other hand, mourning is how the feelings of grief are shown to the public. They are acts of or behaviors that show the sadness or hurt that someone is experiencing. And so, hey, Miss Rosita. Uh,
Hey.
so I think sometimes, because we're not mourning, people don't understand that we're grieving still. Like, the mourning is what happens, you know, typically right after. Like, your people
Mm,
can see it. That's when everybody coming to the house and bringing chicken and all that a lot of times. But they don't realize that the grieving starts most of the time after everyone leaves, and you have to try to figure out how, like, what do I do now? what
yes.
what does my life look like now that I no longer have to leave work on my lunch break and go take, this part my their lunch and go pick up their medicine, or I'm not in relationship with that person again. Like, what do I do now? Like, it's a
Yeah. What
whole
do I do
nother
now when I don't go at 5 to make sure he's had his afternoon meals? I
right.
don't call at 8 because I like clockwork. Climb into my bed every night and call my daddy and
Hmm.
say, "Hey, are you in the bed yet? Are you still in that recliner?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, how do I fill those voids?
Mm-hmm.
That, because the loss left a lot of voids, not just emotional ones, but physical ones, right? Like, you had to physically be there to support them. So what does that look like? What do I do now?
Yep. And you have to replace it with something positive. And when those thoughts come to your head, it's okay. Know that that's normal
Hmm.
because you had a routine of doing something. And so just because the other person left, you know, doesn't mean that it's just that easy for you to stop your routine.
Right.
There are going to be days when you are driving and you may drive in that direction and then you may
Yeah.
realize, oh my goodness, where am I going? Because they're not there.
Yeah.
And that may be very overwhelming. Or you may reach to pick up the phone and call and it didn't happen. My phone rang the other day and it said it was a missed call. Where is it? I wish I knew how to get to my missed calls. James Perry Johnson. It was Sunday. And I was like, what?
Hmm.
Avery. Avery had my daddy's phone and and was calling me. And I'm like, girl, don't play with me.
Yeah. Yeah. Even, little things like that, like just turning their phones off or taking their contacts out of your phone. Like all those little things can be triggers, and it's okay, if that triggers you in a way, but we can't keep running from those feelings, because then we're only prolonging the inevitable. So the anger that you would have felt is going to be intensified because you've suppressed it for so long, and now it's compounded. um
Mhm.
and so
Is there anybody on the live that is actively dealing with grief? And remember, grief is not just about somebody passing away.
right.
Grief can be about a relationship that you lost, or grief can be about losing a job. I remember in 2016, I think. I,
16, 17, somewhere in there.
oh well, it was three.
Oh,
I lost three jobs.
that's,
Yeah,
yeah,
three companies closed down on me.
you triple
The
threat.
yes, the very first one. Uh-oh, did I lose y'all?
No, we see you.
Oh, something happened. Okay. And I remember Big was like, "What's wrong with y'all? I mean, y'all to get another job."
Hmm.
And I was like, "I'm grieving because
Right.
um I saw my clients every day because at this time I was working in an adult day treatment. They
Hmm.
were a part of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
5 days out of the week, you see these people and you work with them for 8 hours in a day.
Hmm.
That was difficult for
Yeah.
you to come into work one day and everything is fine, and you go out and come back and management is there and saying that they decided to close the site, and it's nothing that you can do about it, and they tell you you have 2 weeks to transfer all of your clients. Like, what?
Yeah. That's traumatic.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hey Kesey.
Okay. So you said you're currently dealing with grief.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to share?
I'm sorry, y'all, for yawning.
Oh, it's okay. we know it's we know it's close to your bedtime, y'all.
Listen, honey.
Honey, she has a bedtime. I'm envious.
And it will go up. But
Hey, Felicia.
so I'll just say this: if you are grieving, uh, in any way, any loss, uh, you have to give yourself permission to be okay with the process, right? You have to give yourself permission to feel. It can't hurt forever.
Mm,
If you go through it, right? You and you can't let anyone try to write a script for your grief, right? They can't tell you what it should look like, how it should last, what you should say, when you should, feel it. Um, you decide, not them.
Yeah.
So when you say you can't get over it, what do you mean? Like, are you okay, well, she'll take a leg, breaks me down there, so I think about it. Okay.
Mm, I understand that. You know, I was there when my dad took his last breath. And I think for a second I got angry because although it was just me and him in the room, and I didn't realize it because I had gotten a work call. Um, I think he waited. I know for a fact he waited for me to get there because I had worked that morning. Um, but I felt robbed. And then his nurse was like, no, like he waited for you to be distracted because that wasn't something that you necessarily needed to see. But I told him the whole time he was sick, it's like it's me and you to the end. You know,
Mm.
we rocking and we rolling. It's us to the end. And so um he waited. And so Kesey, what I would say to you is you were there and you got to be there to the end. I try to look and think about happy times.
Mhm.
I don't think about the sad times. I don't think about the suffering, or at least I try not to. Because when I do, I get angry um and frustrated because I'm like, I know what type of person he was and why did he have to go through all
Yeah.
of these things. So that's the part for me that I just still can't wrap my head around. But what I do know is God reigns on the just and the unjust,
Mhm.
and we have no control over what He does.
You got dark, Yolanda. Did you like? Oh,
I see that.
so we have a similar loss story. My dad waited for me too. I know for a fact that he did, and I knew I didn't. I knew that he was waiting for me. And so I took my time getting to the hospital that morning because I was like, the longer I stay away, the longer he'll be here. And so, when I got there, I was there for a few hours, sitting beside his bed studying. Um, and then it was done, and I left the hospital. Um, but like you, I try to not focus on the sickness,
Mhm.
uh, but rather, the good times. Because I felt cheated as well. I was only 19, and I'm like, all these trifling men out here, that's not taking care of their kids, not helping people, just bad people, in
Mhm.
my opinion. They get to live, so why not him? But we don't get to make that choice, and focusing on that negative part of his life, well, not negative part of his life, but on that loss, uh didn't do him any justice, and it wasn't helping me. And so I had to learn to let that part go. uh and I think that if you see the being able to be there with them in those moments as a gift, because not everybody gets that,
Mm-mm.
right? Not everybody gets the gift of time. Like, getting
No.
sick and dying is a gift, because we all gotta die, like that's promised. But to be able to get sick and have your family there with you, have someone you love there with you in those final moments, and for you to be there with them, that's a gift.
Mhm. It is. And the crazy part about it is the people that are closest to me, they always say if God would have taken him the night when he had his wreck, it would not have been good. Not
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
But he gave me time, like he gave me months and months and months. And even though he had to go through all the things he had to go through, um, it was a lesson for me. I
Yeah.
learned several different things during that time. It was a spiritual lesson. It was a responsibility lesson. It was just so many different things. You know,
Yeah.
and I grew so much in that time frame. But the crazy part about it is, LaQuinda, you and the grief story that we have, you were studying
Mm-hmm.
by your dad's bedside, and I was working,
Yeah.
and I know that both of them would have wanted us to be doing exactly what we were doing.
Yeah.
Because how
Yeah.
many times did I go to that nursing home and I just maybe had sat there and did notes or whatever. Even after his wreck, I would work. I think I may have taken like 3 or 4 days off and did nothing, and then I went back and I would work in the morning at at the hotel, and then I would go to the hospital and I would sit in that chair and do notes,
Mm-hmm.
check emails, whatever, talk to
Yeah.
him, take calls.
Yeah. Yeah. And wouldn't have had it any other way. Tamika,
Mhm.
I can agree with that. I can respect that. Mourning is a process. Uh-huh.
Did you read what she said um about her pastor?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I agree with that. Grief is a spirit. I think that's why it lingers, because it is a spirit. And then the mourning is more of the processing, the physical processing, and acknowledgement of the loss. Um, and I think, let me check because I don't want to lie on the Bible, but it sets a time frame for mourning, but mourning isn't the same as grieving. But
Mm.
yeah, I agree with that. That's a good way to look at it.
I understand what Kesey's saying too. She looks at older women and wonders why can her grandmother still be alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so a lot of times those are the hardest parts of it, the whys
Yeah.
and the what ifs. And what I can tell you is there are no benefits in the what ifs and there are no benefits in the why because we'll never know.
And even if you knew, what could you change about it?
Yep. Like sometimes we are looking for answers when really we already have them. We may
Yeah.
just not want to accept what the answer is.
And one thing that I say that, the way that I see it is it's never a good time to lose somebody you love, right? If they're young, if they're old, it doesn't matter. If they could be 132.
Mm-hmm.
If you my grandma, I need you to stay here, but don't worry about what's on the other side. Just stay right here with me.
Yep.
Um, and so maybe you feel less cheated if they're older, than if they're young, but I don't think this just ever a good time.
Well, and then too, we got to look at were they tired?
Yeah,
We don't know what they prayed for.
right. When my grandmother was passing, um, she said, they came in and gave the whole, there's nothing else we can do talk. So everyone was in there having conversation about, whose house she was gonna go to. I'm a ball of tears on the floor in a hall. But they're talking about all of that, and so when I returned to the room, uh, and we're talking, uh, And one of the things that she said in her sickness was that God gave her everything she asked him for, and she was okay, with her life coming to an end. I, she was okay, but I wasn't, because this ain't about you, Dorothy. This is about me. You know what I mean? Because they've known life without you, but you've never known life without
Not
them.
them. Yes.
And that's hard to accept.
Mm-hmm.
And it's selfish of us sometimes to want people to stay.
Yeah. But now, don't beat yourself up over that selfishness, because I
Right.
think it is normal. Yeah, we
Yeah.
want them to stay because we love them.
And maybe
And
we should say it's human of us, not selfish, but it's
yeah,
human
yeah,
of
I
us.
like that versus, yeah, because I think, well, we know selfish is negative, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's normal. Of
Yeah.
course, we want them to stay.
Yeah.
Like, I never imagined a world without my daddy in it. But
Yeah.
when I think about it, that's not logical. I
Right.
mean, he was however many years older than me. So he had to leave at some point. And there was a time, like you said, where he was in this world and I wasn't.
Yeah.
That's just a cycle of life.
Yeah. We don't like it, but it's real.
Mhm. And so for me, it has I don't know. Family is different for me. Um and life is just different for me now.
Yeah. Right, Tamika. It's like you can, and that 90 is a gift. Like, that's a gift. And so she lived a year past when they expected her to. That goes back to what I was saying, like being sick and being able to spend time with those people you love before they leave here is a blessing. And when it gets to a certain point, you don't want to see them suffer like that, even though it hurts you. The thought of life without them hurts. We can't stay forever.
Yeah. And I want to comment on the last sentence. She said, I miss her and I wish she could have stayed, but she was tired and dwindling away. And that's kind of how I felt about my dad at the end. Like, it was no quality of life for him.
Yeah.
And that's not how he would have wanted to be. And so it was time,
Mm-hmm.
because where he is now, baby, he is enjoying himself and there is no
Right.
sickness.
Right. And that's the other thing, what you said made me think about. Grief isn't about the person that left, it's about the person who's left behind, right? Like, we know that they're okay. Well, some of us be putting folks wings on folks back that, oh, don't worry about it. So, some of us are, we know certain people are okay because we know how they lived, right? But it's not about, oh, they're in a better place. I know that, but that place is not here with me, and that's the problem. I don't care nothing about the better place. I want them here with me, and that's why I'm sad. I'm not sad because they're in a place. I know, in a better place. I know that they were tired. I know that, I didn't want them to keep suffering, but I still wanted them to stay here with me. And that's what I'm grieving. The emptiness that I feel because they are no longer here. And so I say that because sometimes when we say, people are in a better place, or when people tell us that, it doesn't make us feel better because we still miss them, and that's still that human part of us, not selfish, but human part. I know they are, but I want them here. Like Tamika said, we just want them to stay with us. That's it. That's all.
And it's unfortunate, but the reality is nobody gets to live forever.
Right. Yeah.
But
Life
hopefully
is different.
one day we'll see him again.
Yeah. 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 That's what we hold on to.
Mhm. I would challenge anybody to hold on to um positive memories. Go back and
Mhm.
look at pictures and think about the things that you learned from that person. Um hold on to those things. Don't hold
Yeah.
on to the sickness or how they looked at the end if they didn't necessarily look themselves. Hold
Yeah.
on to those happy moments and those jokes. Because my daddy was a jokester.
Mhm.
He called me sister.
um, and also I want to add, don't don't do your loved ones the disservice of reducing them just to their death, right? They were so much more than that. So don't just hold on to those weeks or months or moments um, that ended their life. Think about all the life that they lived prior to that, because I'm sure there was more life in your encounters with them than there was death. Uh,
Hmm.
and so while that's the easiest thing to focus on because it's the heaviest,
Right.
um, you
And
have
it's
to,
the last few things.
yes, yes, but you gotta remember they were more than just that. They were
Mhm.
more than just those last few moments.
I tell people now to, because we're in the whole social media age, record, like
Yeah.
record their voice, take
Mhm.
pictures, because we have pictures, but some of the things that you may want when they're gone is you might want to hear their voice. So
Yeah,
record.
yeah.
I have voicemails that I'll probably never delete just because I want to hear him say, "Call me back when you get this message." My daddy
Mhm.
was very soft spoken.
Yeah. Yeah, and see that's something that I don't have from those, but I have like voicemails from my aunt that I'll keep forever. But that is something that I wish I would have had, at that time. But it wasn't readily available like it is now.
Mhm.
And so that's something else to treasure. But make memories. Just take the pictures. It don't matter if your hair not done, just take the pictures, pose, jump in the video, because one day someone will need that reminder of you to get through a bad day.
Yes. My
I
mama used to take pictures, but I'm like, whatever.
Mine too.
I'm I'm taking it.
Yeah, mine
I'm
too.
recording it.
She won't ever act right, girl. That lady will not act right behind a picture or a video. But
You just gotta capture them anyway, and
yeah, yeah,
they'll be okay.
yeah.
That's what I need.
I try to say the parent, grandparent, loved one left a legacy in ways that most people don't look at. They aren't here physically, but they left a legacy. Example, how to treat people, how your kids do things, and how your loved ones taught them. It's a legacy that lives on. Right. Y'all, when Alex was young, he used to lay in the bed just like my dad. So when my dad would lay in the bed and watch TV, he would like prop his hands behind his head and like bend one leg and cross the other one over. Alex used to lay in the bed just like that man.
Oh my goodness, Anthony does that now. Is
And
that not the creepiest thing?
I was like, but Alex never got the chance to meet my dad. Like my oldest
Mm.
son did, but my other kids didn't. But he would lay just like that man.
DNA
Yes.
was born
Yes.
in blood.
Oh, Miss Gwen, I know that hurt.
Oh no.
Um,
Oh man, I'm so sorry.
Me too.
Mm, mm, mm.
Well, oh, that hour went by fast.
Mm. What did Lashandra say? I was very worried about my mom. At one point, my therapist told me to record. I do that now. I had her do a step by step on how to make her dressing
Oh,
and sweet potato pie.
that's
Oh,
a
that's
good
a good idea.
idea.
I am going to use that because I keep asking my mama for this cookbook, and for some reason I do not have it. Mother dear, I know she's on here, so I'm just gonna record her.
Yeah, that's a good idea
That is.
because we do lose a lot of stuff that way. Like I said, I didn't have, the technology at the time to record my grandmother, but I would call her and she would walk me through how to cook things when I was away at college. So,
Mm.
but that's a good idea.
And you still remember them today
Yeah,
because you
most
say
of them.
cooking is soothing for you.
I love to cook. Love it. It's
Oh,
therapeutic.
I wish I was that domestic.
I
I used to
love it.
be. I don't know what happened.
I love it, baby. You got 82 jobs
Not
and some kids.
82.
But no, it's relaxing for me, and I think that was where it come from because I spent a lot of time with my grandma in her kitchen. So yeah,
Well, thank y'all so much for joining us. We are back and we hope to see you weekly.
ooh,
Um,
the stores with the shade.
oh,
The stores. Make sure you put that cheese ball. Better fact, just email me the cheese ball recipe. I ain't
maybe
gonna
I'll use it one day. Yeah, they talk about me so bad. My husband said I hadn't cooked 3 times in the last 10 years.
ooh,
Oh, they talk about me bad.
we
That
got
is a lie because I cook on all the holidays.
we got to get a crock pot going or something, Yolanda.
I know, and he does not eat meat now. So,
Oh,
oh, yeah. Yeah. So, I'm going to try to transition with him.
you can have it.
I don't know what I'm going to do about my bacon, though.
I believe in you. Get some vegan bacon.
Thank you, Lakeisha, for
Thank you for
contributing
sharing.
tonight. I think this is her first time on the live, and she jumped right on in.
Yeah,
Thank
thank y'all
you,
for
everybody,
tuning in.
for
Thank y'all for sharing.
yeah, for your contributions tonight. We love it. This has really uplifted my mood. I'm so thankful for y'all.
We are thankful for you because we definitely wouldn't be on here if it wasn't for you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I thank LaQuenda for joining me every time.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Like Chick-fil-A.
Uh so we will see y'all next Monday or Tuesday. We'll try to get Brittany to post what day. Just as soon as we know, you'll know.
What if y'all tell us what the topic is in stores? You got something on your mind? What do y'all want to talk about next week?
Oh
We
yeah.
welcome. We welcome ideas.
Kesey said she still remember my mama grits. Yes, please. We love to get topics from you all.
So you can email them, you can post them on the page, you can send us a message.
You know, I was thinking, I don't know why this popped in my head. Family conflict.
Mm.
That's a sensitive subjects.
Monday is tax day.
Oh, is it?
Yep, that's what our tax professional said. The
Mm.
15th. Yep. We got to get Tamika on here one day so she can talk about money and stress.
Yes. When can you join us? So she's letting us know she can't be on here Monday.
No, she can't be on here no time soon with tax season. And I know people stressing her, people like me stressing her out, sending stuff in at the last minute.
I'm just praying that the Lord gonna fix my tax situation. He gonna do it.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, tax time is stressful, but money is a big source of stress outside of tax time. Okay, we got code.
What's code switching?
I think she's referring to like when you're different ways and different settings.
Oh,
Child Abuse Awareness Month.
okay. Have a session about that sometime this month if that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Baron, would you like to be our special guest one night?
Thank you, Tamika. Technically, it's not me, it's my child, but it's me because I should have sent it. But yeah. So if y'all have ideas or something comes across your mind during the week, just shoot us a message on Facebook or Instagram, or email us with your ideas.
Yeah, you can email us at info@resolutionsbhs.com. You can also send a text message to 870-500-2324. That is the Resolutions work phone. Again, that number is 870-500-2324. Now, if you call that number, you will go to the office because it is always forwarded. And after hours, it goes to our on-call service.
Tamika said April is Financial Literacy Month, so maybe she can squeeze us in one day.
Oh, I love it. I love it. See? Wonderful. We have some topics for the next few weeks.
And even if we don't get her in April, since it's such a busy time for her, we can get her one day, hopefully.
Yeah, and we're definitely preparing for May because that is Mental Health Awareness Month. Okay, and she has agreed to be our special guest. So yeah. Child Abuse Awareness. All right.
Thank y'all for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much. We'll see y'all next week. Have a good night.
Good night.